And I lost my sweet tomato when she said, I'll see you later. Well, I threw my jelly sandwich down and I cried. And baby, let me tell you, well, I got me a black umbrella, 'cause the kitchen is gonna be dead here for a while. Oh, mama, you know that kitchen's gonna be dead here for a while.
All right, that was nearly living blues legend, D minor.
Thank you, thank you.
And, okay, and we're going to let Mike get ready here a little bit. We're going to have a special performance tonight of Geronimo's Cadillac. Oh, he's not ready for that. Oh, he is ready for that. There he comes now. You ready? You ready, D minor? Here it is, Geronimo's Cadillac.
Geronimo, you left the lights on.
Thank you, I think. Well, if you get anything else there, you might like to say to the folks out in our radio audience, from your vast experience, Mr. Minor.
I like to do a song, a slide
why don't
song.
you do it on the mic?
I like to
here.
do a slide song. It's entitled Casey Misery. City misery, just can't shake these blues. Got too many teardrops just a falling on my shoes. 'Cause I'm stuck in Kansas City, and I can't shake this Casey blues. And if I can't correct this problem, you see me on the 6 o'clock news. Well, I used to be so happy, had a Cadillac, till that woman started driving round behind my back. Now I'm drunk on cherry vodka, and I done bought a 22. And if I can't correct this problem, you see me on the 6 o'clock news. To be so happy, I had me a Cadillac, till that woman started driving round behind my back. Now I'm drunk on cherry vodka, and I done bought a 22. And if I can't correct this problem, you see me on the 6 o'clock news.
Well, thank you. That was D minor, and I don't know where he got the idea about that round trip ticket. I think we're going to try to get the public radio listeners to call in here, and maybe we can round up enough for a bus ticket or something.
Operators are standing by.
Operators are standing by. Operator are standing by. Anyway, thanks a lot, Mike. Thanks a lot, D minor.
And thank you a lot, Gary, for having me on the show, too. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
You really appreciate
really
it? Good. Come back again sometime.
Kelly, we'll make sure we get a couple extra hurricane tracking maps back there, too. For
we can do that for you. Yeah, we'll get you that WLRN mug.
Excellent. This is George Schmutzy saying welcome to Question the Obvious, the latest interview program with a planned half-life of 3 minutes. In this program, we will illustrate the fascinating possibilities of not accepting the statements of knowledgeable people just because they seem to make sense. Our first guest is Mr. Palindrome, a well-known authority about our national economy and monetary system. Welcome to the first airing of Question the Obvious, Mr. Palindrome.
Able was I ere I saw Elba.
What?
Never mind. Well, thank you, George. It is a pleasure to be here and to participate in such a new and experimental program. I'm sure that it will be interesting, but I haven't the foggiest notion of why you would want an economist on your program. You know, economics is sometimes called the dismal science.
Well, last week I heard you on a National Public Radio interview saying that $15 per hour was an unrealistic rate of pay for a low-skilled worker. Mm-hmm. That comes to about $30,000 a year if the worker doesn't have much time off and if he gets a solid 40 hours per week.
Well, that's right, George. The economy could not afford to pay that much for the time of people without skills.
What is a realistic rate in your opinion?
For unskilled work, well, I'd say $5 an hour or so.
Well, that's a little over $10,000 a year.
Sounds right to me.
Do you know anyone who can live on $10,000 per year?
Well, that's not the point, George.
Do you know anyone who lives on $30,000 a year?
I'm not sure that I do, but I'm not sure that I like this line of questioning, George.
Does the level of skill set the pay level that people get?
Oh, yes, by and large it does, though there is a market factor involved, of course. At the higher income levels, it is more a question of competition for the people who offer most in the position for which they are hired.
Wait a minute now. These are the people who get like $1 million or so a year?
Yes, that would be a good example. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If $1 million a year man were paid on an hourly basis, he would have to work 16 hours a day without vacations for about $170 per hour to earn his living.
Well,
that would be a pretty high skill level. It's a good thing that those $1 million a year guys have to put in long hours. If they have to work the same number of hours as the rest of us, they'd have to earn, $500 an hour. Tell me, Mr. Palindrome, what makes them so valuable to the market? What can they do for $500 per hour that some low-skilled guy can't do for $5 an hour?
Well, as I said, George, I really don't like your line of questioning. Can't we change the subject?
Oh, sure, Mr. Palindrome. It's probably one of those dismal subjects anyway. The national debt is in the news a lot. How about that?
Oh, that's good.
I've been wondering who owes the national debt. I mean, if I owe a debt on my credit card, they send me a bill and I can see that I really spent the money in a moment of weakness.
Well, George, it is we the people of the United States who owe it. It is money we will eventually have to pay in taxes for things that we as a nation have bought.
Wait a minute. What fools have allowed us to get over $1 trillion in debt?
We are the fools, George. We owe the money to ourselves.
You mean that the government owes me money? How can I find out how much?
Only if you have government bonds, George.
You mean that $25 savings bond I bought for my kid is the only money they owe me, but I owe them all my taxes for the next 30 years?
Well, government bonds are an investment in your future, George. You should have bought more of them.
Hey, I get it. Okay. Those of us who work for $15 an hour get to pay our taxes so that the executive in charge of Gotrox Industries can buy government bonds with his $500 an hour and get our money as well as his own. Just what does that guy do for a living anyway?
He's an executive, George. He analyzes the production of his organization and hires the people that will make it profitable.
Baloney.
And he fires the ones who cause trouble like you do. I've had it with you, George. I have had it. I doubt you will ever get another guest on this ridiculous program. Your questions have shown such immaturity that I would be surprised if your own executive ever lets you go on the air again. As a matter of fact, how could this station have ever allowed you in the first place, huh? How? I'm out of here.
That's a great question, Palindrome. Now get out of here before you make me sick. There you have it, friends. the first and possibly the last episode of Question the Obvious, the program with a half-life of 3 minutes. Goodbye.
This show has been a test of the emergency joke system. If this show had been funny, you would have been instructed when and where to laugh. This system was developed in cooperation with no one, and definitely not the FCC. This has only been a test, and you flunked.
This audio exhumation of moldy gags and stale jokes was written and performed by Coroner Gary Wilson, Forensic Slicer and Dicer Bill Kelly, and cleanup crew Cole as Nicholas and Nicholas as Cole and Eric Hughes. And special thanks to our actual living guest star and contributor, Mike Horton. This program was dissected and examined in the brilliantly lit, disinfected studios of WLRN FM. Tools of the trade provided by Uncle Noah Grant. So, grab up a toe tag and a sharp object and drop us a note. Pandemonium Midnight Uprising, care of WLRN FM 172, Northeast 15th Street, Miami, Florida 33132.